Now it's being seen right now around the world on a live video stream. That's available to you at our website at talk973.com. Top middle of the page is where the link is located, or your mobile device can also access it. Use your YouTube app and put Mornings with the Leader Man in the search. If you're on your mobile device just needing our audio, well, we suggest many streaming apps like TuneIn, iTunes, Streamer, as long as iTunes is around. Many other streaming apps will also play it. They're all free and available at your app store. Just put WEEB into that search, or you can always get it off of our website, 24/7, 365, in the upper right-hand corner of every web page where the icon says, On the Air, Listen Live. Click it once and you're listening that quick. Weather for us today here in the Sand Hills area, well, the nice weather actually stays right. We're on the backside of the high now. That means a steady flow of southwest air, full of moisture and heat, just the way you like it. Mostly cloudy today, showers likely, high of 87. Ditto, well, that's the same forecast right on through next Monday. No break in the forecast.
Right.
Daily chance of showers and thunderstorms, and highs will be in the upper 80s to around 90. Except for over the weekend, we drop down in Monday. Saturday, Sunday, Monday will be in the low 80s. So a break there on that. Right now around the Sand Hills, winds are from the southwest at 3. Let's make it 9 now. Visibility 10 statute miles. Pressure 3009. Dew point 69. Pressure, humidity pretty high at 94%. It's, like I said, that dew point's all critical. Anything above 68, we're pretty muggy. So that will drop some during the day down into the mid-60s, but as the sun burns off some humidity. Right now, it's partly cloudy, 71 degrees here at Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM, WEEB. All right, it is 7:31 past the hour. A couple of things from the news there. Property owners' tax rates going up 4.5%. You know, we gave you a way to not have to pay taxes. Y'all chose not to take it, so.
Well, and hey, have we thrown in the 4.6 that we haven't decided on yet?
Yeah, the 4.6 million the school board wants in addition to all that.
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah, you got it. You wanted it. You got it.
And you got all this department wants coming in, and so that drives up the budget. So they're going to get all their wants and needs taken care of this time. And you get your over-designed courthouse, everything.
Over-designed schools, over-designed courthouse.
Yeah.
Yep.
I saw them dragging in all the trailers there for the Pinehurst temporary school. We have so much money, we can build a temporary school. Okay. And, of course, the destruction of Midland Road begins today. Down there at the corner of 22 and 2. Could have been handled with a simple stoplight, but no. DOT, they are so smart. I took an oath to make sure all our roads are safe, and put a template in my book.
Yeah, go down there, take a look. They got it marked. There, all those trees are gone.
Yeah, you just get ready for all those trees to start disappearing. Maybe today.
Yeah.
Once they're cut, they're gone. And so the destruction will begin. And they'll start there and end up way up there at Airport Road. By the time they're through, every single... What is this thing? I got to tighten up some bolts.
Yeah.
Every single tree will be gone in the middle of the time they're through. That's the way they want it. And in the case of our little... If you want to make a left-hand turn into WEEB, you'll have to go a mile out of the way. You got to go all the way up to the stoplight, turn around, come back.
Yep.
And just think, when they put that turnaround in, that poor guy with the big white house there on the corner.
Oh, yeah.
You'll have those trucks turning in the middle of the night right through his front yard. Won't that be a wonderful sight? Yes. Our DOT is so smart, I can't hardly stand it.
Well, but, they got no input from Moore County. So, they just...
Well, they got input. It's just that we don't have boards, town councils, even our wimpy House rep, Jamie Bowles, sent an email out and said, this is the best we can get. I support it. You're a pansy, Jamie. That's just all there is to it. Wouldn't stand up for the one iconic road in our county. Neither would any of the town boards. They all just kowtown to the state, went along to get along attitude. You know, it's time one of you grew a set and stood up and got in the fight. But no, it's just the good old boys game continuing on. So, all right, we're going to find some candidates that will start standing up for us for a change and get behind them and see what we can do that way. We'll see. And then when they run, folks, you got to vote for them. So that you got somebody with a backbone sitting in the chair instead of a go along to get along attitude. All right, it is 7:35. So watch that. Go down there and take a look at that intersection now. Mm-hmm. Come back in a few weeks and take a look at it. You're going to go, yes, that's what they want to do all the way down the road. The iconic look is gone. All right. Let's soften things up a little bit. And get it, Grandpa's here. Old Gramps, who stops by the station once in a while. And he's in a raining stage today.
What in the gold dang world's going on out there? I saw where they're teaching kids about the birds and the bees in kindergarten. What kind of communists are taking over this country? Teaching our kids about sexual education at that age? That's downright ridiculous. Back in my day, you didn't have none of this sexual education in school. You learned about it like other kids. You found out about it on the streets from your friends. And you went home and asked Mom and Dad about it, and they said, shut up, that's dirty talk. Those were the days. Then you went to a drive-in movie and you tried a few things in the back seat of a Buick and you got married. That's just the way you did it. None of this stupid schools teaching you about it. Wonder what the test looks like. Probably a bunch of dirty, filthy pictures.
All right. Grandpa on the roll.
Well, the kids are still finding out about it outside of school, or at least doing it outside of school. This is 1987. When I got to Iwakuni, Japan, we were building a bunch of new housing there. And they had closed off a bunch of the old housing, which was right across from the elementary school. And 4th, 5th, and 6th graders routinely were caught in those buildings doing anything you can imagine. And they had to board them all up. And
wow.
Oh, it was bad. That's 30,
trying to
30 years ago.
Populate the earth at an early age, huh?
Oh, it was quite bad.
Another thing quite bad, a 42-year-old woman in New York. Or how do they say it? New York?
York? Yeah, I don't know.
Started having memory problems and other issues last year, and doctors discovered what they thought was a marble-sized brain tumor. So they opened her up for surgery this past September and found it was actually a tapeworm.
Ooh.
They have no idea how it got there, but she's fine now.
A tapeworm?
Yeah. Here's the woman and her brain surgeon talking about it.
The good news is I don't have cancer.
We were overjoyed. We were cheering and clapping. We were so happy in the OR. When we got in there and we saw that it was actually a tapeworm, we're yes, we were so happy.
I stopped asking questions and started celebrating and making the most out of life, because in an instant it can be taken away. There's not a doubt in my mind that they saved my life, and they gave me my life back.
Okay. Meanwhile, a couple in Florida were having a picnic by the lake last Thursday before the guy left for the Marines for 10 weeks. We know where he was headed. Paris Island.
Paris Island, yep.
But the picnic got crashed by a huge alligator that ate all their food. You could tell they had a sense of humor about it, though.
Comes swimming up, right up to the bank, and he just looks us dead in the eyes. And then he immediately just sprints up onto the beach. He annihilated an entire block of cheese, gobbled it down lickety-split. The salami didn't stand a chance. And then the worst part, he goes over, we had this big bowl of guac made. He eats the whole bowl. He put the whole bowl in his mouth and just like...
Yeah, we were in shock, so we just like hauled tail the other way and watched it happen. What alligator will come up and steal food at a picnic like that? It's like Yogi the Bear.
No respect for our picnic.
A hungry one. That's the answer to the question. An expert from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission explains why gators aren't afraid of people. But the couple says they scared it away.
It sounds like that alligator has been fed previously, and he has lost his wariness of people and is beginning to associate people with food.
No fear.
None.
So I learned this technique back when my childhood to scare away bears. You get up and make yourself big and like make loud noises to scare it away. It's called a bear scare. It really worked, the bear scare.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, good for you. Mm-hmm.
Jeff haven't been in that situation before.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure alligators are naturally afraid of man.
And tell them why you should not feed deer, bears, and other wildlife.
Well, we had numerous instances, and you can't do it. They carry various bugs and diseases, etc. That sometimes translate or transfer to people, and they're dangerous. They're not tameable. You think they are. You go over and pet them and all that kind of stuff, but all you need to do is one misstep or one instance of scaring that animal, and you'll get launched.
And also, is it the prelude to them getting euthanized?
Yes. Well, at least where we were, if we had a place and they had 3 deer and you put collars on them and they were kind of roaming around, and they were euthanized.
But if you tame a bear, for instance,
bear too. Yeah,
you're tracking them around your house, and the game wardens have no choice but to euthanize the bear because eventually they're going to kill a kid or something. Yeah,
we had a housing development, and this lady was feeding the bear. It was right on the backside of the Great Dismal Swamp up in Chesapeake, and she would routinely throw out food. And we went over. We had complaints. You go over and you look, and there's the bear sitting in the tree line in the backyard, waiting for this lady to come out and throw whatever out there for him to come over there and eat. And there's kids out there waiting for the bus and all this kind of stuff, and just no. Yeah, you can't do it. Don't do it.
Well, it could be worse. A cop in Tennessee found a couple sleeping on the side of the road on Friday and had to wake them up, not because they were sleeping on the side of the road, but because there was a rattlesnake a couple of feet away from them.
Oh,
The best part is the guy got up and ran, leaving the female behind.
Hey, don't move. Okay. There's a rattlesnake right next to you. Okay. Don't move.
Okay.
Roll toward me. Roll toward me. Come here, don't run away. Come here. Roll toward me. That's a rattlesnake.
Okay, that'll certainly screw up your dreams for tonight.
It'll get your attention, yeah. They're all over, too. You got them in North Carolina. We had them in Virginia. They're all over.
A guy in Australia woke up when he heard a burglar in his house on Monday. So he grabbed his a digger-a-doo. That's that.
A long piece of wood.
Yeah. That makes that Australian sound. Chased the guy down the stairs, held him until police got there, all while he was in his underwear. Well, he had to entertain the guy.
All right. Okay.
Here's I mean, we were there for the, our microphones were there for the moment of this. Wait a minute, that's not, here's the actual fight. There it is. Here we go. There you go.
Yeah.
But here's the guy and his son and another guy who lives with them.
I've seen a shadow. He's lighting his phone accidentally come on and lit him up. I knew when he went around the corner he wasn't fast.
Heard my dad start yelling, saying, "Get him," and boom, we started running down the road.
They're out there in all my glory. I noticed I run faster naked, sort of with semi-naked anyway.
We had him boxed in, he wasn't going anywhere. And
if he came out, I was just going to try and tackle him or something.
He got off easy. He lost his shirt, poor bugger. I felt like giving him one, but it wasn't a shirt I wanted to give him. It's probably lucky I only had a didgeridoo.
Yeah, let's beat him up again. There you go. A hotel employee in Texas is getting props for the polite way he handled a woman who called him an N-word over the phone. She didn't realize he'd hurt her. So when she showed up to get a room, he politely told her to go somewhere else.
You weren't sorry when you said it on the phone.
Listen, there was
no,
people screaming
but
at home.
at the end of the day, and the climate that we live in today's society,
I was sorry.
I understand that, but it's above me now.
I need a room tonight.
Well, there's the Best Western next door.
No, please, let me hear. My daughter's here.
I'm sorry, but, I mean, I was on the phone when you said it.
I said, I'm sorry. Please, I've had a horrible day
And I had a horrible time when hearing that.
He won't let me in.
And it says right there in the Constitution, you can't offend me.
Yeah, that's right. I no longer can be offended.
Yeah, life doesn't apply the same way anymore. I'm entitled to go through life without anyone offending me.
Right.
Oh, please.
He needs to let me know how that'll work out for him.
I'm going to save the rest of these for the moment, because there was something we didn't get to yesterday, and it's extraordinarily important that we get these in, and that's the measurement of the colonel's testosterone and estrogen levels to make sure he's in complete balance with his life.
Okay.
We monitor these things just like your doctor monitors your blood pressure. Yeah. We do the colonel, and he's always in good balance. We just want to make sure it holds true for yet another week. All right, these are first questions for men that women should know the answer to. All right, if a woman says she wears a size 8 shoe in American sizes, what is the equivalent to in men's American shoe sizes?
Oh.
Is it a 6, 7, or 9?
All right, she's wearing...
Hang on, let me get my buzzer ready for you.
She's wearing a women's 8.
8.
Then it's a men's 6. They're 2 sizes smaller.
Ding. Boy, I did not know that.
Yes.
Colonel, I bow to your superior knowledge here. All right.
All I can say is, we have had women Marines go through, and you got to put clothes on them.
And you've done that about a few 100,000 times, have you?
Yeah,
All right, in Roman numerals, what does the number XXIV represent?
XX is 20.
Wait a minute, let me give you the answers. Is it 24, 26, or 14?
24.
Ding. 2 points.
That's a women's question?
I'm sorry. I'm reading the wrong...
All right, okay. I was going to say, what's a women...
I'm reading Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? My bad.
All right.
Number 2, pro makeup artists recommend that this to make your eyes look bigger. Is it A, outline your entire eye with eyeliner, don't use mascara at all, or use mascara on your top lashes only?
To make your eyes look bigger?
Yes.
That would be the top only.
Ding. All right, you have 2 points. And lastly, what percentage of women admitted to sending nude pictures of themselves through email or text message?
100%.
Ding, 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 ding. No. Is it 7%, 17%, or 27%?
27%.
Ding. You slutty women. Don't you know all those pictures must be approved by me first.
Yeah, there you go.
And just make sure you're 18 or older before you send them.
Yeah, no kidding. Carlos Danger.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm Carlos Danger. All right, here are the questions for women that real men would know the answer to.
Okay.
All right, Colonel, you got to get 3 points here.
Yeah, I know. Boy, I made it tough on myself.
Yeah, you did. You get 2 extra points if you can name it without the multiple choice.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. What was Viagra originally developed to do?
Oh, man, it was a heart thing.
Ding, ding, ding. 2 points.
Yeah.
Treat heart disease.
Heart disease.
Yeah. What does the C stand for in LCD-TV?
LCD. Oh, jeez. I should know this.
Looks like you're going to need the answers.
Yeah.
Is it clear, crystal, or connected?
Crystal.
Ding, crystal.
Yeah.
So you got the 3 points now.
Oh, okay. I can goof off on the last 2. The last one.
And what do pneumatic nail guns require to make them work?
Compressed air.
Ding.
Oh, there
All right. Once again, the Colonel proves that he is a real man.
Did you hear that, Matt?
How about Jamie?
Oh, well.
Yeah, somebody with a backbone and a pair. There he goes. Be nice to have one in government. All right, now we're going to translate that over to, are you smarter than a 5th grader?
Okay, I already got one of those.
Yes, you have. So we'll just, you got to have 4 out of 5. These questions come from a standard 5th grade curriculum in the U.S. Answer 4 out of 5, or you ain't got the sense of a 5th grader. Which word is the antonym of polite? Is it
rude?
It is rude. Ding.
Yes.
We did the Roman numeral. What part of the asparagus plant do we usually eat?
The stalk.
Correct. And he didn't need answers, folks.
No.
So he's racking up the points now. That's 6 points so far. Which of the following words is homophone? It's homophone. That's what it says.
Mm.
Is it comb, break, or orange?
Homophone. I don't know. Comb, break, comb what or orange?
Break.
Break? I have no clue what that means. I don't know what that homophone is.
Well, it's break.
Break. Well, yeah.
You want to take a guess which one it is?
No.
Break?
I don't know what the word means. I've never heard it.
All right, me either. What does the root word astro mean? Is it space, star, or sky?
Astro, space, star, space.
Well, we finally get to use it.
No.
The buzzer. No. Star.
Okay.
That's all right. You already had the 6 points, so you've already passed that test. All right, 7:53. Let's get back to some sound bites this morning. There's a 5-year-old rescue pit bull in Missouri named Lucky who became a hit on Instagram because he loves to eat tacos. His backstory is pretty harsh. He came from an abusive home, bit through walls to escape, and was shot in the face. But here's your...
I just want to make his life so much better than what it was before. I think we're doing that. I think he's a pretty happy guy. It's crazy, and people live for it. They love watching him eat his tacos, and he loves to crunch the shells, and so it's pretty funny. I can't tell you the messages that I get from people that are just like, oh my gosh, Lucky, I live for his post. He makes my day brighter. I rescued a dog because of Lucky. I chose to adopt. It's just been amazing, this whole journey, you know. I just wanted to take cute pictures of my dog, and it's turned into so much more.
Well, it seems like that Lucky got lucky and got adopted by the right family.
Yes.
Meanwhile, from our good news file, a teenager who volunteers in Houston decided to, instead of having a high school graduation party, she threw a pizza party for women and children who are homeless. She bought 100 pizzas for them, along with 400 personal hygiene kits.
I didn't want to spend so much money either on a party when that's just going to last a day. And I feel that if I'm able to give to the people, that'll last more than a day. I just want people to be able to have some stuff that they don't normally have. It's very fulfilling to know that I'm able to help others instead of just helping myself.
All right. Well, from the homeless to the filthy, stinking rich, elitist out there in Hollywood, Michael Douglas is narrating his own real estate ad, probably because he couldn't find a buyer. He listed property for, $60 million.
Yeah.
A few years ago, and now it's down to a mere $32 million. It's a 19th century estate on the Spanish island of a name I can't pronounce, but built by an archduke. He bought it in 1989 with his ex-wife for $3.5 million. Oh, because he lives in it, now it's worth $60 million.
Yeah.
There are a mere 10 bedrooms total and 250 acres with a house, 2 cottages, 5 apartments, a pool, a vineyard, and olive groves.
Yeah.
Here's part of Michael's narrative on his own real estate ad.
In the mid-19th century, Archduke Ludwig Salvador of Habsburg bought a large piece of land on the northwest coast of Mallorca. When I first saw Sestakia in 1990, I also fell under its spell and bought the property.
Yeah. We get it.
Yeah. Thanks for turning that off.
Catherine Zeta, I guess, doesn't like the...
Well, you know what it
anymore.
is. They probably don't like the odors that are drifting over the water from downtown Los Angeles. That's what they don't like.
Harrison Ford was on Ellen yesterday and talked about going skydiving for the first time with his 18-year-old son, Liam, and he wants to do it again. Solo. Here's from Ellen.
So was that the first time skydiving? You've never skydived before?
No.
I would think that you would... Had you wanted to do it? I mean, why would you wait so long to skydive?
Because Liam said he wanted to do it.
Oh, it was his idea.
It was his idea.
I see.
Yeah.
So you had not wanted to... I mean, you're a pilot. You fly planes. You would never think that you want to jump out?
No.
No?
No.
All right.
Not really. But it was fun. It was great.
You did like it?
I did like it.
Uh-huh. And you'll do it again?
Yeah, I would. But I want to take the training and then be able to do it myself.
Had Liam done it before?
No.
So, and he'll do it again by himself?
We're talking about it.
That sounds great.
Yeah, compelling interview there.
Yeah. Jeopardy champ James Holzhauser gave SportsCenter an exclusive interview last night. He laughed about some of the idiotic conspiracy theories that are being played out there.
Oh, I love the conspiracy theories. You know, my favorite one is I found some sports book in Vegas who's offering me some great odds to throw the game, and I somehow managed to put in a few $1 million to bet against myself because, of course, they take those kind of limits on pre-taped TV shows.
That's getting way over me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, as the chicken said, boy, I said, boy, you're going to have to go a few more inches. That went clean over your head. All right, currently here in the Sand Hills area, we're looking at 71 degrees. On the flip side of the news, John Zumwalt will be here with another edition of the Zumwalt Zone Extended. All that straight ahead. It is 8 o'clock. We'll be right back.
Pleasant conditions we've seen over the last couple of days will give way to hotter highs and muggy conditions with rain chances building in. This afternoon, temperatures will climb into the mid to upper 80s. A few isolated showers and storms will be possible this afternoon going into the evening hours. Gradual clearing will be on tap in the overnight hours. Temperatures will fall into the mid to upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Broadcasting from the top of the North Carolina Sand Hills, 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM, WEEB, Southern Pines, Pinehurst, Aberdeen.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Wally Hines. President Trump among the world leaders gathered in Portsmouth, England today. That was a key launching point for the Normandy invasion. It is the start of 2 days of ceremonies commemorating the 75th anniversary of D-Day. The president reading excerpts from a famous prayer delivered by Franklin Roosevelt on that day.
We know that by thy grace and by the righteous of our cause, our sons will triumph. Some will never return. Embrace these, Father, and receive them, the heroic servants, into thy kingdom.
The ceremonies move to Normandy tomorrow. That former Florida sheriff's deputy who failed to respond when a mass shooter opened fire inside Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School last year has been arrested on felony and misdemeanor charges. 17 students died in the massacre. Scott Peterson could get 97 years in prison. Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says there isn't much appetite in the Senate for the president's plan to impose tariffs on Mexico, but Iowa's Chuck Grassley says it's too early to talk about what will happen next.
There's some disagreement even among Republicans whether a resolution of disapproval would be appropriate in this place, and right now it's speculation because the president would have to actually issue an executive order, which he hasn't done yet, before that would be even a consideration. But I think we better get a legal answer.
U.S. and Mexican trade officials are meeting in Washington today. The fate of Missouri's only abortion clinic hangs in the balance when a judge hears a request from Planned Parenthood today for a preliminary injunction to keep that clinic open. Virginia's Republican House Speaker says Governor Ralph Northam's call for a special session to take up gun control in the wake of last week's deadly shootings in Virginia Beach will only inflame feelings. News and analysis at townhall.com.
If credit card debt has you down, nonprofit Trinity Debt Management can help. Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees, and drastically reduce your interest. You'll pay thousands less than you originally owed. It's not a loan. It's a way to become debt-free and possibly improve your credit score. So call Trinity and talk to a certified counselor. They'll explain their proven program to you with no pressure, just practical solutions and hope for tomorrow. Are you ready to pay off your credit cards in less time for less money? Then call for a free, no-obligation debt analysis and become debt-free for keeps. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Gather up your bills and call this toll-free number for a free, no-obligation debt analysis. Call 1-800-990-6976. That's 1-800-990-6976. 1-800-990-6976.
Walmart is extending its debt-free college benefits program to high schoolers.
The nation's largest employer will offer free college SAT and ACT prep for employees in high school, while offering 2 to 3 free general education college classes through an educational startup. Walmart employs about 25,000 people under the age of 18. The enticements mark an expansion of a program Walmart launched last year that offers affordable access to a college degree. The company, working with Denver-based Guild Education, that offers a program costing $1 a day at several nonprofit universities. John Scott reporting.
A couple of Florida burglars thought they were pretty clever when they used a blowtorch to break into an ATM machine. Unfortunately, they never hit the jackpot. Officials say instead of cutting the ATM open with the blowtorch, the would-be thieves actually welded it shut. They left with nothing. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Wally Hines. The Trump administration's imposing major new travel restrictions on visits to Cuba by U.S. citizens.
The Treasury Department announced that the United States will no longer allow the group educational and cultural trips known as people-to-people travel to the island. However, commercial airline flights appear to be unaffected, and travel for university groups, academic research, journalism, and professional meetings will continue to be allowed. The administration says the measures are a response to what it calls Cuba's destabilizing role in the Western Hemisphere. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The Louisiana Hospital Foundation's former fundraising chief is accused of stealing more than $500,000 in donations and using some of it to send family and friends to LSU and New Orleans Saints football games. John Paul Funes is charged with wire fraud and money laundering. They say he is now working to reimburse the charity. More on these stories at townhall.com.
I'm Steve Leader Adams with the WEEB Viewpoint editorial. On February 26th, the general contracting company of Clancy and Fays submitted a bid to construct the Southern Pines Elementary School on Morganton Road. As required, they attached a bid bond in the amount of 5% of their bid, or in this case, approximately $1.5 million. On March 5th, Clancy and Fays issued a letter withdrawing their bids, stating they could not build a school at a reduced price as requested by the school board's architect. This withdrawal letter came 7 days after the bid was presented to the school board. The problem is the law says that the bid can only be withdrawn within 3 days after submission, and then only due to an accidental mathematical error, without forfeiting the bid bond. This was pointed out on WEEB's morning program. On March 13th, 15 days after the original bid was submitted, and after WEEB pointed out the law, John Barath, Executive Officer for Operations at the Moore County Schools, stated in an email that Clancy and Fays suddenly had a mathematical error and that the school board should forgive them and not make them forfeit their bid bond. Wasn't that nice of John Barath to give away $1.5 million of your money? The problem is it wasn't John's to give away. He deliberately ignored the law, and true to form, the school board endorsed John Barath's asinine recommendation. The school board lied to the public and said they would have to get in a prolonged legal fight to collect the taxpayers' money. Well, that just simply is not true. They would only need to make a claim against the surety bond attached to the bid. If Travelers Insurance fails to pay on the bid bond, you turn it over to the insurance commissioner to resolve the problem. This is a continuation of a long-running problem in our school system of the tail wagging the dog. Now the school board wants $4.3 million more from you. Don't you think the school board needs to start by collecting our $1.5 million from Clancy and Fays before they stick their hand out once again to the taxpayer? I'm Steve Leader Adams, and that's my viewpoint.
Building a new home or thinking about changing your existing floors? Aberdeen Carpet can show you the latest flooring trends that will fit your budget and lifestyle. Flooring is what we do every day. Visit Aberdeen Carpet's large showroom and discount warehouse, filled with an extensive inventory, ready for immediate pickup. We offer expert advice, competitive pricing, and a huge selection. Located on Highway 5 in Aberdeen near the Habitat for Humanity store. Open Monday through Friday 9 to 5 and Saturdays 9 to 4. Call 944-6204 or go online to aberdeencarpet.com.
Hello, this is Chris Ennis, Service Manager at Pinecrest Patriots. We want to thank all of our loyal customers for entrusting us with the care and maintenance of their vehicles over the years. But did you know we also service Lexus, saving you a trip to Raleigh or Charlotte? In fact, our factory-trained and certified ASE technicians can service any type of vehicle. Your complete satisfaction is our #1 goal, so please consider Pinehurst Toyota Hyundai for all your vehicle service needs. We are open Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. and open on Saturday from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. We can be reached at 910-692-2424. We look forward to seeing you.
Being overweight is the #1 health problem in America today. It leads to so many avoidable health issues. If you have a weight problem and finally want to do something about it, then do what I did and participate in the Transforming You Weight Loss Program offered by Dr. Sharon Wright at Wright Chiropractic in Seven Lakes. It's a customized, physician-assisted program based on your body type and your goals. A healthier, more vibrant, spirited, and slimmer you emerges. Now, I lost 25 pounds in the first month and 50 pounds to date. That keeps me motivated. Now, the program is easy to follow. I'm Steve Leader Adams, and if I can do it, you can do it. Give Dr. Wright a call and set up your no-charge consultation about the Transforming You weight loss program at 910-673-2225. That's White Chiropractic at 673-2225.
It's 1948. The Pinehurst Resort is closed for the summer, and J. Ellis Fields, along with his children, opened Fields Plumbing and Heating. It's blazing hot, and you could hardly walk on the sandy streets. But Mr. Fields is a pioneer in the development of air conditioning, and Moore County residents take comfort. That's almost 70 years ago, and Fields Plumbing and Heating continues to offer fast and dependable air conditioning service to its customers. No job is too big or too small. Call Fields Plumbing and Heating at 910-949-3232.
Next to your home, your vehicle is one of the largest investments you'll make. Hey, it's Anthony from Champion Car Wash and Detail Shop. People tell us all the time, I have a vehicle at home that I only wash by hand and I don't need to have it detailed all the time. Well, did you know that Champion hand washes vehicles too? Give us a call at 692-5060 to find a time to get your vehicle properly hand washed using the 3-bucket method to ensure your vehicle's cleaned as gently as possible. That's Champion Car Wash and Detail Shop near the corner of Morganton and Broad in Southern Pines.
NCN News. I'm Mike Riley. North Carolina lawmakers will finally decide whether to override Governor Roy Cooper's veto of legislation that says doctors and nurses can be charged with a crime if they fail to care for an infant delivered during an unsuccessful abortion. House Republicans scheduled an override vote today. House Speaker Tim Moore supports the bill and tells WLOS News in Asheville.
It does not in any way restrict a woman's access to reproductive rights. It doesn't do any of that.
North Carolina budget negotiators, meanwhile, can begin in earnest after the House formally rejected the Senate's 2-year spending plan. The House declined Tuesday to accept the Senate's budget approved last week. In an interview with Piers Morgan on ITV's Good Morning Britain, President Trump said today whether or not war with Iran was a possibility.
There's always a chance. Do I want to? No, I'd rather not, but there's always a chance.
Tomorrow marks 75 years since the D-Day landings. Ray Lambert of North Carolina was an Army medic at the time. The 98-year-old spoke with elementary schoolers in France about his experiences.
When I go to look at the beaches at Omaha, I remember all my friends that were killed there.
Meanwhile, British Prime Minister today read a letter written by the Royal Army's Captain Skinner to his family before landing at the beaches of Normandy.
I'm sure that anyone with imagination must dislike the thought of what's coming. But my fears will be more of being afraid than of what can happen to me.
One person is dead following reports of a shooting in northwest Charlotte this morning. Medic says that the person was pronounced deceased at the scene. A town on North Carolina's Outer Banks is warning beachgoers that trying to walk in its public beaches could get you arrested for trespassing. Business owner Robert Hovey of Kill Devil Hills was arrested last weekend when he tried to reach the beach in a town of Duck, land owned by Homeowners Association. You're listening to NCN News.
Medicaid expansion, school safety, a statewide bond package, the next state budget. North Carolina lawmakers are tackling these and other topics. You can follow all the action with Carolina Journal. How would these proposals affect you, your wallet, your family? Carolina Journal offers answers. Available each month as a free newspaper. Every day online at carolinajournal.com. Carolina Journal, your best source for government news that affects you. Visit carolinajournal.com today.
The Powerade State Games of North Carolina are coming this June to Charlotte. Registration is open for athletes of all ages and skill levels in 24 different sports. The Powerade State Games feature 13,000 athletes and 700 teams. Don't miss out on the largest sports festival of the year. Visit PoweradestateGames.org today. The Powerade State Games are brought to you by BB&T and Harris Teeter. For more information, visit PoweradestateGames.org.
A Russian fighter jet made a dangerous high-speed pass of a U.S. Navy aircraft yesterday. CBS News correspondent Cammie McCormick has more from the Pentagon.
The Sixth Fleet says the U.S. aircraft was operating in international airspace over the Mediterranean, and the Russian interaction was irresponsible. The Russian jet made 3 intercepts of the U.S. Navy surveillance plane. The Navy says one pass was directly under the front of the U.S. plane and produced turbulence that put the American crew at risk. Moscow insists its crew remained at a safe distance.
Police in North Carolina have filed charges against a 90-year-old man who they say struck and killed an 82-year-old pedestrian. Kill Devil Hills police say Harvey Sourbear of Point Harbor is charged with misdemeanor death by motor vehicle after the pickup truck he was driving hit 82-year-old Robert Rawlings of West Virginia. There are a lot of questions surrounding the death of former Arkansas State Senator Linda Collins Smith. CBS News morning anchor Dana Jacobson.
57-year-old Linda Collins Smith was reportedly found dead of an apparent gunshot wound outside her home in Pocahontas, Arkansas. The lieutenant governor tweeted, quote, "I am in shock over the news, heartbroken for her family and friends." State police say the Republican's death is being investigated as a homicide.
The winner of the North Carolina lottery came forward on Tuesday. Charles Jackson Jr. won the $344.6 million, but he's going to take the lump sum of $223 million. He says when he first called his wife, he thought he had won $50,000. He realized he had the Powerball.
After I hung up the phone with her, I got back in there and looked, and I said, dang, I got them all. So then I called her back and said, look, I won the whole thing. And she said, well, how much is the whole thing? I said, I don't know. I just played. I don't know what it is.
Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
Warmer highs and humidity levels will continue to increase across our area. For this afternoon, we will see temperatures head into the mid to upper 80s, and it is going to feel steamy outside. We have a chance for a few isolated showers and storms as we go into the afternoon and evening hours. Gradual clearing will take shape overnight with lows in the mid to upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Right now here in the Sand Hills area, it's partly cloudy, 71 degrees, humidity 87%, dew point at 69, pressure 3009, wind south at 12, visibility at 10 statute miles. It's 8:15. Let's take a look at your Sand Hills news for this Wednesday hump day morning. Property owners should see a 4.5% increase under County Manager Wayne Best's proposed fiscal year 2020 budget. Best presented the proposed spending plan to the Board of Commissioners yesterday morning. If approved by the board, the hike would be the first increase in property taxes in more than 10 years. That would put the tax rate at 51 cents for each $100 value. But given the property values have gone up as a result of reevaluation this year, the increase for most taxpayers would be even more. Normally, after a reevaluation, when values increase, the tax rate is adjusted downwards to what is called revenue neutral, which would generate the same amount of revenue as before, taking into account normal growth. That would put the tax rate at 44.23 cents. Best attributed the proposed increase to the higher debt service on repaying $123 million in voter-approved bonds to finance 3 new elementary schools and a health education center at Sand Hills Community College, county capital projects such as a new courthouse, and the increasing cost of providing services. And work has begun on the new roundabout on Midland Road on NC 22, and access changes at the US 1 interchange. Traffic is expected to be detoured around these areas for the next 75 days of construction. Barnhill Contracting Company was awarded the $2.8 million contract earlier this year, according to Aaron Moody, NCDOT Division 8 Communications Officer. The company is one of the state's largest general contractors. The project is one of many changes recommended to the Comprehensive Midland Road Corridor study. Midland Road is believed to be the first divided highway in North Carolina and is considered scenic and historic. NCDOT's plan will remove all scenic and historic aspects of the road. That's your latest Sand Hills news this morning, but stand by. Here comes your latest in sports right here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM. WEEB. It is 8:18.
NCN Sports. I'm Josh Zach. The Golden State Warriors are in physical recovery mode as they head into tonight's Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Klay Thompson dealing with a mild hamstring strain. Backup center Kevon Looney has a ribcage injury and is out. And all-star guard Kevin Durant, who missed the last 7 games with a strained calf, remains questionable. The series tied at 1 game each. Tip-off in Game 3 scheduled for 9 o'clock tonight from the Oracle Arena in Oakland. Raptors forward Kawhi Leonard says they'll have to ignore the hostile environment and take at least one of the 3 games there.
I got the 6th man with the crowd, but just have to buy into ourselves and come out hard, strong, no mistakes, no turnovers.
The NCAA announced the schedule for the 8 best-of-3 super regionals in the baseball tournament. The overall number 1 seed UCLA set to open at home against Michigan Friday night. ACC tournament winners North Carolina will host Auburn on Saturday at noon. That'll be in the Chapel Hill Super Regionals at Boshemer Stadium. Game 2 will be Sunday. A time's not yet been determined, and if necessary, there'll be a Game 3 on Monday. Number 10, East Carolina is going to face off against number 7 Louisville at noon on Friday. Duke will go against number 2 Vanderbilt at 6 o'clock Friday night. The University of North Carolina, meanwhile, announced that the head football coach, Mack Brown, successfully underwent knee replacement surgery. The procedure done on Monday on his right knee. The 67-year-old coach went under the knife by Dr. Michael Bolognese at Duke University Hospital. There's an even bigger twist. Bolognese played defensive back under UNC during Brown's first stint as coach for the Tar Heels. Bolognese also performed Mike Krzyzewski's complete left knee replacement in 2016. The doc said the surgery won't affect Brown's summer schedule. This is NCN Sports.
If you're ready for some fun, then you're ready for the summer fundraiser on UNC TV. Tonight, Happy Days are here again, starting at 8 with Magic Moments, the best of 50s pop, showcasing chart-topping harmonies from your favorite groups and solo artists. Then at 10, join the musical celebration for star tenor Andrea Bocelli at 60. It's the summer fundraiser, and it's some fun. Now through June 9th, only at member-supported UNC TV, PBS, and more at unctv.org/specials.
There are millions of unused and leftover opioid pills in North Carolina alone, enough to stretch from the mountains to the coast. These powerful prescription pills are contributing to an epidemic that takes 5 lives every day. But there is something more powerful than opioids. All of us. We can take back our extra pills and ask our healthcare providers about alternatives for pain. Together, we can take back our communities. Learn how you can help end the epidemic at morepowerfulnc.org.
The Big Ten and Southeastern Conferences will be heading to Las Vegas for bowl season in the upcoming years. The 2 leagues will take turns sending a team to face the Pac-12 when the game moves into a new billion-dollar stadium for the NFL Raiders in 2020. Boston Bruins coach Bruce Cassidy says Zdeno Chara will be checked out in Boston to see whether he'll be able to play in Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Final. That tomorrow in Boston. Chara took a deflected puck off of his face in the second period of Monday night's Game 4, which the Blues won 4-2 to tie the series at 2 games each. The Panthers announced Sunday they've signed 3-time All-Pro defensive tackle Gerald McCoy, the 31-year-old, given a 1-year deal. He's played his last 9 seasons in Tampa Bay. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Hey Sandhills, Chef Karen here. We know you love our Sunday brunch, and this summer we're making it even better. You can't beat our made-to-order omelets with just-picked local veggies, hot fluffy waffles with fresh berries and peaches, homemade desserts, and this includes a beverage, a Sunday mimosa or a Bloody Mary, coffee, tea, or soda, all for $16.95. All summer long at Philly and Colts at Little River. Join us, 692-4411.
This is Pastor Ashley Smith at the Village Chapel. The men's ministry is presenting a special event Saturday, June 8th with basketball head coach Tubby Smith as the guest speaker. Coach Smith's Kentucky team won the national championship in 1998. He has won 616 games with 6 Division I teams and received the John Wooden Coaching Award in 2016. Coach Smith now coaches at High Point University. You will be inspired. Saturday, June 8th at the Village Chapel from 1:30 to 3. The event is free and open to the public.
Hi, this is Rich Wagner from Whispering Pines. I've been suffering with acute back and knee pain for many months, and after trying visits to the doctor, painkillers, and spinal injections with no relief, I went to see Dr. Wright at Wright Chiropractic in Seven Lakes. After the first visit, I noticed a lot of improvement, and I've continued to improve with each treatment. Thanks to Dr. Wright, I'm feeling much better than I have in a very long time. I was skeptical about chiropractic treatment at first, but it has truly given me my life back.
This is Dr. Wright. I can't guarantee I can fix every problem, but I will tell you honestly whether chiropractic can be of help for your particular issue. Living with pain is not always the only option. Doesn't it make sense to explore every avenue before resigning yourself to the limitations of pain? Call our office today to schedule a consultation and start living again. 673-2225.
Are you a do-it-yourselfer, home builder, or remodeler? If so, bring in the best deal you're getting in Moore County for your flooring, and Hardwood Liquidators will match it and beat it. Right now, we have over 130,000 square foot in our warehouse stacked with solid, engineered, laminate, and waterproof luxury vinyl plank. Like the farmhouse look? We've got farmhouse bandsawn French oak flooring starting at just $449 per square foot. Financing is available with approved credit, so come on down to 707 South Pinehurst Street off Highway 1, right across the street from McNeil Oil, or call us at 910-757-0478. Hardwood Liquidators, more floor, less money.
Hello, I'm John Zumwalt, and you're in the Zumwalt Zone. This will be one of the saddest stories I ever tell on here. It'll for certain be one of the saddest commentaries on mankind. If you don't want your children to hear this, turn your volume down for about 90 seconds. It's a story of a girl in the Netherlands who was molested when she was 11 and 12 years old. When she was 14, she was raped by 2 men. The experiences ruined this young girl. She was unable to overcome her horribleness of what had happened to her. She struggled with an eating disorder, and she had PTSD, including depression. At the age of 17, her life ended. She committed suicide. No, she didn't. This girl, this 17-year-old girl, was killed by the state. You see, in the Netherlands, they have what they call an end-of-life clinic. They should call them a serial killer store. In the Netherlands, they're much more progressive than we are in the United States. Here, we just kill babies, 9-month-old babies, born and unborn. In the Netherlands, they're way ahead of us. They kill all ages now. One day when I'm gone, we'll be there too. In fact, maybe we'll be so enlightened that anyone can just decide who should live and who should die. Once you decide, just put them out of their misery. Just don't use a gun. And no, I'm not making light of this. This is sad on a whole bunch of levels, and I really do think we're heading that direction. I got to tell you, I hope not. From the Zumwalt Zone.
Pleasant conditions we've seen over the last couple of days will give way to hotter highs and muggy conditions with rain chances building in. This afternoon, temperatures will climb into the mid to upper 80s. A few isolated showers and storms will be possible this afternoon going into the evening hours. Gradual clearing will be on tap in the overnight hours. Temperatures will fall into the mid to upper 60s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
And now, the Sandhills' #1 morning show. Mornings with the Leader Man. Here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. And heard and seen around the world at talk973.com.
The best part of waking up is waking up with us.
Today's show is brought to you by Way Back Wednesday. Here are 3 things we learned in the 80s. 1, Billie Jean is not my lover. 2, girls just want to have fun. And 3, everybody wants to rule the world.
Today is Wednesday.
Today is a very special day for us.
Great. So what do you need?
What do you need?
I need coffee. Extra strong. Coffee. Why do you need that? And why do you need that?
It has the power I need.
What kind of coffee is it? It's a chai with soy.
No coffee? How do you take your coffee?
You know how I like my coffee.
Black. Yeah, that's real coffee.
I'll tell you what else. Tell you what it is. It's also showtime.
Good morning, Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. Welcome back to the most listened to program in all of the Sandhills. It is time once again for Mornings with the Leader Man. I am Steve Leader Adams, along with retired Colonel Jeff Drummond, Marine. Good morning, Colonel. Wait a minute, I got the wrong mic open. There you go.
There we go. All right. Morning, Moore County. Hey, time to get out of that rack. We're going to go do a little hike this morning. It's a perfect day for it. A little hot, a little humid, a little bug. Let's go. Get out on the street.
Just think, you could be in Paris Island, sweating like crazy, getting sand thrown on top of you. What a great thought there. Don't forget, of course, this program being heard and seen around the world on the live video stream. That's available to you right now at talk973.com. Top middle of the page is where the link's located. If you're on your mobile device, your YouTube app will do the work. Just put Mornings with the Leader Man into the search. And if you're on your mobile device just needing an audio stream, we suggest many streaming services like TuneIn, iTunes, Streamer, just to name a few. Alexa, Google, they'll do it too. Just put WEEB into that search, or as always, you can get it on our website at talk973.com. Upper right-hand corner of every web page at our site has an icon that says, on the air, listen live. Tap it once, and you're listening just that quick. Weather for us today here in the Sand Hills area, it's going to be mostly cloudy today. This is going to be the forecast for the next 7 days. So look for cloudy to partly cloudy skies throughout the whole period, mostly on the cloudy side, with a chance of showers every day. Highs will be around 90, except over the weekend and Monday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, they'll be in the lower 80s. So with that in mind, our dew points will be in the mid to upper 60s, so on the sticky side. Right now around Sand Hills, winds are south at 12, visibility 10 statute miles. Pressure is 3009, dew point 69. Humidity way up there at 87%. It's partly cloudy, 73 degrees currently here at Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB. All right, it is 8:29 past the hour on this Wednesday, and it being Wednesday and everything, time for another edition of the extended Zumwalt Zone. Good morning, John Zumwalt.
Good morning, Steve, and good morning, Jeff. I have a question before we get started. Now, the Colonel said you're going to go on a little hike. About how far are you two going to be going this morning?
Well, you're leading the hike there, John, so we're going as far as you do.
Well, I got some good news for you. We are done.
You know, I asked a guy one time, he was a trainer for Special Forces over at Bragg. He was out at the dog park. And I said, what kind of training do you do? He says, well, we go on long hikes and da-da-da-da-da. I said, how can you take it? He says, well, I'm in an air-conditioned truck. They're the ones doing the hiking.
Yeah, but what he forgot to tell you was he did that when he was a young man, too.
Yeah. Well, he was built and strong, yeah.
Well, I always hate being introduced by Steve because you've got this big, strong radio voice and trained, and here I get on here with my Texas drawl, and I just sound like a complete hick. But I'm going to do the best I can. I want to tell you, when Steve first offered me a chance to come on here and do this, I had no idea, and neither did Steve, I don't think, of what this might become or what I might do. And I cringe when I look back at, if you think they're bad now, the very first couple of years were absolutely pitiful. But I thought I would do something different today. I never thought that I would ever be on the radio criticizing our pathetic newspaper, which I've come to call the pathetic pilot. And it is. It's pathetic. But I thought I'd do something different today. I know that some of you were probably ready for a little bit of a break from the kind of thing that we've been doing here just about every Wednesday. Although I want to warn you, they're school. We're not letting off. But I want to tell some old stories that I've told on here before. Maybe you've heard some of them. I hope you have. And see if I can kind of tie them into what's going on in the schools. And it's going to be kind of fun for me to do this, and I'm hoping you might have some fun too. I want to start with the military because, you know, I retired from the Army. And Jeff, you were a Marine. Maybe you can relate to some of these things. And I loved the Army, and I'm sure Jeff loved the Marine Corps, and all you veterans out there, and you love it. And we love you, by the way. But I want to tell you, one of the things I can still remember my drill sergeant saying to me when I was a young man was, men, use common sense. They would say that over and over. And I want to tell you, as an old man, there is no place for common sense in basic training. Your drill sergeant doesn't want to hear you say to him, drill sergeant, excuse me, I think I have an idea. Let's start getting up at 9. That way we'll be rested. No, they don't want to hear your common sense. Let me give you a couple of other examples. You take bayonet fighting. I guess you took it to Marines, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In the Army, during bayonet training, the number one phrase they hear, men, there are two kind of bayonet fighters. What are they? Either one of y'all know?
Living and dead.
Yeah, close. Quick and the dead. Quick and the dead. They forgot the cowardly and the dead. But there are two kinds of bayonet fighters. And they would teach us the parry and the thrust and all these other moves. And if you're young, and if you're a kid right out of high school, you actually believe that all you've got to do is go out there and do a couple of these moves and then just whack, and then the enemy's, that's it, he's done. Now, I've never been in a bayonet fight, a real one, and I'm grateful that I haven't. But one of the things they taught me I never forgot, because I actually would have used common sense. They said, men, if you're fighting with the enemy and you jab that bayonet into him and you get it stuck in a rib or a bone, you can't get it out. Use common sense. Pull that trigger. When that bullet fires, it'll come loose. And I remember thinking, I've got a bullet? Why am I bayonet fighting? Just because he's out of ammunition doesn't mean I have to give him, I'll give him some of mine. Here's my bullet. Boom.
They told us we should always save one for that purpose.
Okay. Well,
and my thoughts were the same as yours.
I don't have that kind of willpower. Like, okay, I've got one bullet left. Here comes this guy charging at me. I think I'll save this bullet. But I think this next one is even worse, and I'm curious if you guys learned this. We learned this in 1968, but they did this for a long time in the Army. That was back in the days when they were worried about nuclear strikes and that it might kill us. So they developed a thing, and I would only use this term once, but it actually was an Army term. And they taught us ass to the blast. And what would happen was we would actually be out training, and they would throw some kind of a simulator, and it would boom, and we were supposed to face the opposite direction and lay on our weapon, which at that time was either an M16 or an M14, because they were transitioning. You would lay on your weapon, put your heels together, and the reason you would lay on your weapon was so that it wouldn't melt in the nuclear blast. So I'm thinking, what? So what, gentlemen, what is that pile of goo there? Oh, that's Zumwalt. But look how nice his weapon looks. Who thinks of these things? But as privates, we were just like, it never would have occurred to me to say, drill sergeant, excuse me, won't I melt if I lay on top of the weapon? I remember going to basic training in 1968, and if you can picture the drill sergeants getting us off the bus and lining us up, and a whole lot of you men and women out there know how this feels. It seems kind of fun in the movies, but when they line you up and they're screaming at you and you're terrified, even though you thought you were pretty tough before you got there. I don't think they do that in the Marines, do they?
No. Just kind of gaggle around.
Yeah. And you stand at what you believe is a position of attention. Well, they had us put our duffel bags behind us, and they would run around yelling at different people and screaming at them and hollering at them, and I was just trying not to be noticed. And the guy next to me did something to catch their attention. So they said to him, sit down on his duffel bag. Stand up. They were all just screaming at him. Sit down. Stand up. And I'm not sure what I was supposed to be doing, but I found out I was not supposed to be looking at him and smiling and following with my head as he went up and down. I found out I was not supposed to be doing that. So I learned the hard way. If someone else has attention on them, keep your eyes straight ahead. And now, there's a time to think for yourself, but Army basic training is not the time. And what's the takeaway on this one for the school board? Think for yourself. Think for yourself if you're a member of the school board. Don't blindly follow Barath and Grimacy. And you may think I had to work hard to tie that together. No, I didn't. It's an absolute no-brainer.
Sounded pretty natural to me.
Yep, natural. All right. Now I want to tell you another story about, you might have heard me talk about Mr. Earl Polk on here before. He was a plumber that I worked for in high school, and I thought he was the biggest, strongest man. He was a Christian. He acted like a Christian. He was as good a person, I believe, as I've ever known, and I was very blessed to have worked for him and very blessed to have known him. I kind of have to break here a minute and tell you that for the first few years of my life, adult years, I had a weak stomach. And when I say a weak stomach, I mean a weak stomach, much too weak to be working for a plumber. Well, Mr. Polk knew I had a weak stomach. And he said, Johnny, I'm going to send you over to this house. This lady's got a stopped-up toilet, and I want you to take a look at it. Try not to take too long because she doesn't have a lot of money, and she will pay us, but we don't want to take much of her money. So I said, okay, and I drove over there in the plumbing truck. Now, I was so proud to be driving that plumbing truck because I was a high school kid. And I was driving a little plumbing truck, and it just made me feel like I was really something. So I get there, and I'm trying to emulate Mr. Polk. And I walked up and knocked on the door, and this lady came to the door, and she was about, I'm going to guess she was probably pushing 80 pretty hard. And she said to me, thank goodness you're here. My mama has been sick all weekend. Well, if this lady's in her 80s, her mama had to be pretty old. And I didn't quite click on stopped up commode, and my mama's been sick all weekend. You'd think I would have picked up on that right away, but I said, okay, well, let me take a look, which was another phrase I should not have uttered. We went into the bathroom. She said, there it is, and I pushed by her, and I opened up the commode lid, and I saw the gates of hell. That woman had been sick all weekend, so my gag reflex kicked in. Well, when I gag, I have one of those curse gags that's not just a huh. I can't even do it on the radio because if I did, some of you would wreck your car. You would think a plane had crashed. I gag so loud, it sounds like a moose in heat, and I've got tears streaming down my face. I'm gagging. I had to push this old lady aside. I went out in the yard. I'm throwing up. I'm puking. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, ugh. And I'm like, no. I get in the truck, and I leave. She's probably thinking, what in the world is this guy doing working for a plumber? And I went back and told Mr. Polk. I said, Mr. Polk, I just couldn't do it. And he said, what was the problem, Johnny? I said, well, when I opened up that toilet seat, there was a bunch of, I couldn't even get the words out. So the point there is if you're not good at doing something, if you have a weakness, you probably ought to get another line of work. Can you think of any way we could tie that to breath and grimacy? I can't either. All right, got another one here. In my former job, I had the opportunity to, in the interest of looking for places to train, for military units to train, I would go to different prisons across the United States. Some were closed down, but they would give me tours of the prison. On one particular tour, I'm walking around with the warden, and he's on his radio, and he's giving instructions, and different doors would open up and clang. You've seen them in the movies and on TV. Clang, tang, and I had no idea where I was. Well, this particular one was a women's prison. And as we go further inside the bowels of that prison, pretty soon we open up and ding, clang, and we're inside of a big jail cell with a whole lot of jail cells around it for individuals. And I think there were 6 ladies sitting there, and they were knitting. And the fellow who was giving me the tour said, without any warning, said, J.D., these are the ladies of death row. Ladies, this is J.D. J.D., you got anything you want to say to them? Well, I'd like a little more notice than that if I'm going to talk to death row people. What am I going to say to them? Hello, ladies. Let me just encourage you a little bit. If you do well, you can have a very good, productive life on death row here. What do you say? I didn't want to hit on them because a lot of reasons, but imagine that if they turned me down. I mean, they're on death row. Think how that would have made me feel. So I'm going to transition from ladies on death row to one of the sweetest ladies I've ever known in my life, and that would be my grandma. My grandma told one of the greatest stories, I think, that I've never forgotten, and I've used it a lot of times. And by the way, we have a bigot here listening to me today. He right now he's taking notes, and he's waiting for me to make one wrong move. Well, I think I just made it. So I'll be getting a text from him in just a second telling me that I'm a racist.
It'll be the second text of the day. I've already got mine for today.
Okay. Well, listen closely to this one because this is kind of for you. My sweet grandma was, when she married my granddad, and it had to be the early 1900s because my grandfather was born in 1895. And think about that. He was 20-something years old when Wyatt Earp died. That puts it in perspective. When they got married, in the part of the United States where they lived, if you got married, you couldn't just go check into a motel for your honeymoon. My grandmother said you had to have one of two things. You either had to have a marriage license or you had to have what they called a honeymoon certificate to show that, yes, indeed, we are married. Well, when they checked in the motel, my grandmother said, I have never been so embarrassed in my whole life. We walked in there, and we didn't have either one. And she said, the older lady behind the counter said, honey, I can't give you a room here. She told her, I believe you probably are married, but we just can't have that kind of a place. Now, that lady behind that counter was a white lady, and my grandmother was a white lady. And that lady had no ill will towards my grandma, none whatsoever. She was sweet. She told her, you know, when we bought this place years ago, we decided that we were never going to violate any of our moral principles, and we just don't believe we're going to do it now. Well, had my grandmother been someone other than a white lady, she would have no doubt thought, okay, I get it. It's because I'm black or because I'm whatever color I am. And, you know, the truth of the matter is, it probably would have been in those days. She probably would have been unable to stay there. In fact, I'm sure of it. But the point I want to make here is this. Sometimes people do have morals or values or reasons other than color. And it's just possible that when you meet someone who doesn't open the door for you or lets it go in your face, it's just possible they do that because they're idiots, because they're rude, because they don't think of others. I had a guy let a door go in my face the other day. He was an old man, about my age. He looked back, kind of gave it a shrug, and just let the door go. And I thought, boy, you are one rude piece of garbage, and I'm glad I didn't raise my kids to be like you. I'm going to transition from that racist story right into another one. This is about one of my favorite dogs I've ever had, Buddy, the one-eyed dog. And you had to call him Buddy the one-eyed dog or he'd get mad at you. He was probably 3 or 4 years old, and he had developed something in his eye. We don't know what, and the vet didn't know what, but they had to remove it. And you would think Buddy would be a little sensitive about it, but he wasn't. I'd call him across the yard, Buddy, and he'd yell back, Buddy the one-eyed dog, to you, Buddy. Anyway, we used to feed him, and we would take his hard dog food out of the plastic bin, I should say. Take the lid off of it, give him his food. We'd let him go outside. I'd tell him when to come back in. Buddy would always look at me like, I don't want to come back in. I would say, Buddy, the one-eyed dog, you come in right now, and he would. I don't think he ever got a glimpse of me running, because if he would have known I could not have caught him. But he always minded. He always came in. And you know what? He didn't know that he could take that plastic lid off that bin and feed himself. He didn't know that he could that if he wanted to, he could go in my office where it was off limits. He didn't know that he could probably beat me up. He didn't know any of that stuff. And you know why we didn't tell him? Because we didn't want him doing those things. We wanted to keep him down. We wanted to keep him so that he thought we are the only ones who could feed him. He couldn't feed himself. And you know where I'm going to tie this into? We have political parties. We have people who try to make other people, whole races of people, whole economic classes of people, white and black, and every other minority that you can think of. They want them to think, you can't feed yourself. You need us. You can't get a job. You need us to feed you. You're just like Buddy the one-eyed dog. We cannot allow you to get out here in the world and do your own thing. So don't worry. We're going to take good care of you. And I just truly wish that my racist friend could see that's what the Democrat Party is doing to you. They are making sure that you cannot survive without all the things they give you. And it's just not true. It's a terrible, racist way to treat people. And I wish you would direct your ire towards them today. Next story is about me being a basketball coach. Me being a basketball coach is about like me trying to fly the space shuttle. It's got zero chance of succeeding, except I was coaching kids who were about 5 years old, best I remember, 5 or 6. It was me and one other guy that I was in the Army with, and we were coaching a little boys team, and the team was horrible. I mean, they were horrible. They couldn't dribble. When the referee threw the ball out in the middle, everyone just gathered around it and kind of tried to dribble, and it was 20 minutes of agony just watching them try to get from one side to the other. Now, I've never been able to play basketball, so I was no help to anyone. Now, luckily, we had one guy in our team, one little kid. His name was Curtis. Curtis went on to become a great athlete. He played in Kentucky for the football team, and a lot of times a good athlete is just a good athlete, and that's the way Curtis was. Curtis could get that ball. Once he got the ball, he could dribble down the court. He'd make a layup every single time. Well, if he didn't, he would rebound, and he was the only one that could rebound. So we would always know we had 2 points automatically, and we would just slaughter the other teams. It was embarrassing. We'd like 20-something to nothing. Well, we had one team that we developed, and I admit I helped develop this. It's called Give the Ball to Curtis. Anytime anyone got the ball, we would give the ball to. I'm kind of ashamed of that because those other poor little kids, they probably to this day are sitting around going, you know, Duke is doing pretty good this year, but I don't know why they don't give the ball to Curtis. Those kids had no idea how to play ball except give the ball to Curtis. We would just give the ball to Curtis. Curtis would take off. The other parents would look at us like, why are our kids even here? And my son was on that team. I would yell. In that case, I'd change it up a little bit. I would yell, JD, give the ball to Curtis. But anyway, you can't rely on one source too much, can you? How can I tie this in the school board? Don't rely on one source too much. Don't blindly follow someone else. I'm trying to think. Okay, I've got a tip for men. This is strictly a tip for men. Your wife, from time to time, will say to you, honey, would you take out the garbage? Well, every man listening to me knows that he's going to take out the garbage. So you can do it one of two ways. You can say, I'm trying to watch the football game. This is a bunch of baloney. Why do I always have to take out the garbage? I'm sick of this, but okay, I'm going to take it out. I'm taking it out now. Or you can say, okay, dear, I'm so sorry. You do so much, and I should have seen it, and I should have just gotten up and taken it out. I hope you'll forgive me. Now, either way, you're taking out the garbage. One way, you're getting credit. One way, you're not. And so whenever I hear a man griping at his wife about something, I always think to myself, you need to apply the take out the garbage method, because you're going to end up doing whatever it is. Just go ahead and take out the garbage and act like you really like it. My next story is about parachutes. When I went to jump school, the first week you're in jump school, they run you around and make you do push-ups and sit-ups and try and get you to quit and harass you. And the whole time they're talking about different things you're going to be using while you're jumping. The second week, the third week, they teach you over and over and over and over again. Your parachute will open. It'll open up every single time. You've got to have confidence in your parachute if you're going to jump. There's no other way you're going to get that many people in an airplane and get them to jump out of an airplane with a parachute if they don't trust their chute. So they tell you over and over, your parachute will definitely open. You do not need to doubt your parachute. And then they teach you about a reserve parachute. And I'm like, no, what is this for? Why do we need this reserve parachute? This looks like more weight to me. And their answer is, well, that's in case your chute doesn't open. What? I thought we could trust our parachute. Well, just in case it doesn't open, you should have a reserve. Well, can we have another reserve in case our reserve doesn't open? Always have a backup plan. I want to tell you a story about my dad. My dad was one of the friendliest men that ever lived, and it seems like everybody in Kingsville, Texas knew him. He was a milkman when I was a little boy, and I don't think he ever let an opportunity pass. I was probably 6 years old, and I ran down to the downtown area where they were going to have a parade in Kingsville, Texas, on the main street. And in our town in those days, that was back when the ladies sat out on the street in sunbonnets. I don't know if you even know what those are, like they used to wear on a Little House on the Prairie. And the old ladies would sit out there, and the kids would watch it. And it was still safe enough in those days where my little old behind could run down there to the downtown area without anyone worrying about me being kidnapped, and I watched the parade. And the last thing in the entire parade was my dad. He was driving a milk truck, and by the way, in those days, everything was in the parade. The street sweepers, you name it, they put them in the parade. My dad was the last guy in the entire parade, and he was driving a Hygeia milk truck. He was a milkman, and he always smoked unfiltered Camels. Of course, he had one in his mouth, spitting that tobacco out, waving to everybody. Hello, hey, JD, hey, Billy. You would have thought, if you didn't know any better, you would have thought that they had that parade for my dad. You would have thought all those other people were there just so they could be ready to introduce my dad. Well, I couldn't wait to get home and tell my mother I got home, Mommy, Daddy was in the parade. She said, he was? Well, he didn't tell me he was going to be in the parade. He got home, and I remember her saying, JD, my son's name was JD, my dad's name was JD. You're starting to see a pattern here. And she said, JD, you didn't tell me you were going to be in the parade. How'd you get in the parade? And he said, hell, I don't know, Polly. I took a left, there I was. And I still don't know if that's true, but that's what he told us. That's what I always believed. I want to tell you a story about Dairy Queen. I always loved, still do, love Dairy Queen. If I could only eat at one place the rest of my life, I would probably eat at Dairy Queen. I love their hot dogs, and I love their ice cream. And you can judge me if you will, but I love Dairy Queen. Well, I went in there one day with my family. Mindy was still alive, and we had our two little children, and they went in and ordered, and then they sat down, and I, for some reason, decided I was going to get a sugar-free vanilla cone. Please don't ask me why. I don't know. I thought, well, I think I'll eat sugar-free. That sounds healthy. And so I said, let me have a sugar-free cone. So the kids said, okay. I paid for everything. He got my kids' stuff, got my wife's, and they all went and sat down. And he came back to me and said, we're out of sugar-free vanilla. And I said, well, I'll take some sugar-free strawberry then, or chocolate, whatever you got. So he went back in the back, came back. No, we don't have any sugar-free. And I said, well, that's okay. I'll eat my kids' stuff anyway. Just give him $1 back. He said, well, we have a no-refund policy. I said, a no-refund policy? I didn't get anything. You either have to give me a cone, or a sugar-free cone, or give me my money back. So he went back and back. And if I'd have been him, I'd have come out with a cone. Here it is, sir. Found it right here. But he didn't do that. He came back and said, no, sir, we don't have any sugar-free. And now I'm on a quest. Now it's not about the dollar. It's just I'm on a quest. I said, well, can you give me that $1 back? He said, we have a no-refund policy. I said, well, could I speak to your manager? Because he was just a kid. And he said, yes, sir. And he went back, and he took a while, and I knew he was telling the manager what a jerk I was. So he came back out with the manager, and the manager said, sir, what's the problem? And I said, well, I ordered a sugar-free cone, and they don't have any, so I just wanted to get my money back. And the kid looked at him and said, I told him we had a no-refund policy, and the guy slapped him in the head and give his money back. I guess it was his dad or someone. But now my next story is about excuses. How long do I have, Steve? 1 minute. I'll try and get this in. My last place I ever went as a Houston cop. My last call I ever got was a lady who had shot and killed her sister in the bar we were in. And we did our little investigations. There was a lot of people in the bar. And I placed the lady under arrest and put handcuffs on her, and she was screaming and yelling and griping and complaining, and she was telling me, I'm not guilty, I'm not guilty. And I said, well, you just told me you shot your husband. Folks, this is an absolutely 100% true story. She said, well, I wasn't trying to, I said, you just told me you killed your sister. She said, but I was shooting at my husband. I didn't mean to kill my sister. Like, let me take his handcuffs off of you. Not guilty. As long as you're shooting at your husband, it's okay to kill your sister. So, all right, that'll be my last one since we're out of time.
Okay. Well, we call that half hour potpourri of memories. Anyway, very good, John. I appreciate it. All right, Dumont Zone, which is heard every Wednesday, 8:30, right here on Talk 97.3 FM, 104.1 FM, and 990 AM WEEB, and the regular Dumont Zone heard throughout the day. It's right here. And
this Friday, too.
Do what now?
Remember, the Lieutenant Governor candidate will be this Friday.
Yeah. So he'll be back this Friday as we have Buddy, what's his last name? Buddy Bingle. running for lieutenant governor. We hope to have him here on Friday. So it goes for this Wednesday. Have yourself a great, safe day. We'll see you back bright and early tomorrow, 7 to 9 for a Thumping Thursday. Until then, be sure to support all the mom and pop businesses you hear on our airways because they are the backbone of our economy here in Moore County. Your money will stay here, roll over, create jobs for all of us. And don't forget, millions of Americans have fought and have died to give and protect the freedoms that you get to enjoy today. Live today worthy of their and their family's sacrifice. I'm Steve Leader Adams and the Leader Man, and Nick and Colt the Dog. We'll all see you this afternoon at the Hot Sticky Dog Park.